Hello and good afternoon. You join us here on Breaks Live FM. I'm Shaun Cashmore. I'm joined by trusty sidekick Craig Barnes, and you join us for this crucial bank holiday weekend in the National League North. It's Leamington hosting Hereford this afternoon. There's a bumper crowd at your Co-op Community Stadium, and there is all to play for. As we stand, there are 5 games to go, and once this bank holiday weekend is done, we will be into the final 3. Last week, Leamington drew another blank in terms of picking up points and finding the back of the net, but again, it was by no means down to a lack of threat and opportunity, but more down to a stern test against a team steeped in home form, that of playoff hopefuls Alfreton Town. But the game ended 2-0, Leamington remained in the drop zone, and Alfreton moved into those sought-after playoff positions. As for today's opponents, Hereford, well, back in early February they parted ways with manager Josh Gowling, and since they've been under the interim charge of assistant manager Jan Klowski. Last weekend they travelled to Boston United, who had, of course, dispatched the Breaks the week prior, and after a drab first half it was Hereford that broke the deadlock. But Hereford picked up a point on the road as the game ended 1-1. Such a fine day here in Warwickshire, clear blue skies all afternoon, and certainly plenty of fans around the ground wanting to see the fine conditions met with a fine game. Cross will take this corner that he won, right-footed, swings it in towards the penalty spot. Edwards is there! Edwards just flashes it past the far post. Good firm header from Leamington captain Jack Edwards, and the first early scare for Hereford.
Great delivery again from Cross from a set piece. I mean, he was showing that just before he picked up his little minor injury a couple of weeks ago. Edwards unlucky just to knock it wide there. Decent spell this. I think Paul Holloman will be quite pleased with how the opening 15 minutes have gone.
So, goal kick forward by Eve, the Hereford keeper. It's headed away by the Breaks. Cross jumps in and then doesn't win the ball, and Hereford come forward on the left-hand side with Lawton. Lawton out towards Lloyd. Lloyd left-footed cross towards the far post. Lane misses his header. Good save by Can. Really good header from Tyrone Barnett at the far post. Lane didn't get there to defend it. Barnett came in at the far post, sent his header towards the top right-hand corner, and Ted Can just clawed it away. It'll be a corner to Hereford.
Yeah, that was definitely a goal-saving save, that one. And Barnett's made a career of that. He's now 37 years old, played for the likes of Peterborough, Shrewsbury, AFC, Wimbledon, and used all his experience there to peel off, get a good header on target, and Can was equal to it.
So Hereford will have this corner that'll be taken on the right-hand side. There's a little train of players on the penalty spot ready to make their move. They swing it in towards the near post. It's glanced at the near post by Barnett again. And it's just out of play over on that far side. It was never troubling Ted Can, but it was actually Amadi Holloway who got the first contact, and I think he was just looking for someone to gamble off the flick on.
Exactly right, yeah, that's how I saw it too, Shaun. He peeled away, got himself into a bit of space and just glanced it, trying to create problems for the Leamington defence, but luckily for the Breaks it went wide.
Again, Dan Meredith just trots forward on the right-hand side in front of the Leamington bench. He makes his way forward just to take this throw in. And again, you can imagine Perry won't come and show short for him. He tends to just spin off. There he goes, and he does use him again. Perry in towards Meredith again. Meredith, first time cross in towards the near post. Hulbert's there! Hulbert finds the back of the net! Ollie Hulbert gets his head to the Dan Meredith cross, and Ollie Hulbert, 17th appearance for the Breaks, and that's his second goal. Leamington break the deadlock after just 16 minutes, and it's Ollie Hulbert, the man on loan from Yeovil Town.
And Hulbert deserves an awful lot of praise for that, because the ball was given to him initially. He, willing runner, ran into the channel to try and make something happen and got the throw from it, and from that throw Meredith, as you say, found Perry. His cross came in, and there was Hulbert with a good header past the keeper.
And Leamington have done exactly what they needed to do on this bank holiday weekend. They've got the first goal here at your Co-op Community Stadium. It's Leamington 1, Hereford 0.
Story just being on a yellow card there, I think helps Leamington as well, because he's got to be careful as he bombs down that left-hand side as well. So as we say, been the danger man for Hereford in recent weeks.
Hereford clear their lines. It's a long ball over the top, and Leamington need to deal with this. Lane goes all the way back, gets his head on it, but he's been robbed of possession. It's all the way through to Can, stumbles off a body, down goes Barnett, nothing given. Leamington making a mess of things at the back, but they clear their lines. Turner tries to come forward now on the left-hand side, and Leamington look to counter with Hulbert. Hulbert has his ankles clipped, nothing given though on this right-hand side. Hodgkiss just plays it down the line for Pinchard inside Edwards. Edwards doesn't win the challenge, and Hereford come forward. Ball over the top of Cross, invites Lawton forward on the left-hand side. Forward comes Lawton, infield, in towards that man who picked up a yellow card, Story, throws a step over, has a long-range effort. That one's out of the ground, and he's not going to be too impressed with that. The man who just picked up a yellow card. But going back to that chance, Craig, long ball over the top, it's route one, Lane and Hall were there to deal with it. Ted Can came out, it ricocheted off 2 or 3, and in the end, Leamington managed to clear their lines. But once or twice in games gone by, Leamington have gifted opportunities, and again, Paul Holleran won't be happy with that.
Well, exactly right. You could feel the nerves, couldn't you, with Jack Lane, really? I think, just so keen to try and keep a clean sheet and just to try and build and keep Hereford out as long as possible. Ted Can used all his frame there just to try and help get the ball away.
Cleaned up by Hereford inside their own half. Haynes just heads back towards Lilly, and then Lilly just dawdles on it a little bit, invites the pressure on him and has to go back to his keeper, and then it blocks off Perry. Perry can't keep it in play, and again, wow, Hereford there this time are the ones who are putting themselves in a bit of trouble. Marty Holloway just dallied on it, Lilly dallied on it, they went back to Eve, who it took a bobble, he didn't clear it the first time, tried to let it settle, and he only slammed it into the body of Perry, who charged him down. It could have gone anywhere, but it actually went behind for a throw-in, deep in the right back position for Hereford. It's going to be a corner for Hereford. It's going to be outswinger on the far side. It's swung in towards the far post. It's netted back towards the goal line. No one can clear it. It's off the post. It's collected by a Hereford man. It's sent goalwards again. It's a scramble inside the box. They stab it goalwards again, and then Can clutches it. And Leamington breathe a sigh of relief. A round of applause for Jack Edwards. I couldn't tell you who was stabbing it goalwards. There was a plethora of bodies in there. It broke down. It was stabbed off the Leamington post. It was stabbed back into the 6-yard box. And then as it was clutched around, I think Barnett in the end had the final effort that was collected by Ted Can, and everyone breathes a sigh of relief.
Yeah, that's what you call team defending, isn't it? Leamington just getting a yellow wall, gold wall in front of goal and trying to stop Hereford at all costs, and luckily enough there was Can to get his hands on it at the when all's said and done.
So the throw-in will be taken deep inside the Leamington half where it ran out of play. Hereford players come to show short for it. It's infield in towards Pinchard. Pinchard looked to shoot onto his left foot. Joe's against it because he's got an overlapping run of Lawton over on the far side, and he uses it. Lawton keeps it in. He's got cross for company. Lawton left-footed gets his cross in though. It's a good header, and it's a great save by Ted Can. Fantastic header by Story, headed towards the top corner, and Ted Can dove away to his right-hand side and got a big right glove to it to turn it over the crossbar.
He certainly did. That was another vital save from Ted Can. That's 2 in this first half. 3 including that goal-mouth scramble not so long ago. Ted Can enjoying a decent first half here.
Well, it was a nice height for such a tall goalkeeper, but take nothing away from Ted Can because he sprung away to his right-hand side and he kept his clean sheet intact. You'd have to think from Story, if he's headed that down, it would have caused more problems, but Leamington just starting to ride their luck ever so slightly. Meredith, ball above his head. Perry comes to show short. Back to Meredith, who didn't get his cross in first time. He tried to go round that man Story, and now Story tries to break away behind Meredith, and Story does really well. Story carries Ford, and Ford come. Hereford now on the counter. It's 3-on-3. Out towards the right-hand side it goes, towards McLean. McLean's got Hall for company. McLean tries to get down the right-hand side and use the backup that he has. It's infield towards Pinchard. Pinchard onto his left foot, sends one goalwards. Ted Can was scrambling, but it's over the top. Really good break though from the Bulls. They broke away at pace, but the chance was high and wide over the top of Ted Can's crossbar, but just warning signs for Leamington there that if they give the ball away, Hereford are quite capable of breaking at pace.
Pacey side, Theo Street giving chase, but as you can imagine from a 35-year-old centre-back, pace is not his strongest suit these days, but he did well to help put the Hereford players off, and luckily it went over the bar in the end.
Swings in towards the near post. Hulbert tries to get a flick on. It wasn't the best delivery from Cross. He's got a lot better than that in the locker that we've seen already this season, but he'll collect the loose ball again and goes back towards Hall. Hall dances away from his man and comes forward from left back, throws a little step over, goes outside towards Cross. Cross picks it up and comes forward towards the edge of the D. Cross looks for support, doesn't have it, gives it away towards Story, and Story now breaks away, and it's a ball over the top, and now Meredith's going to have to cover in front of his man and does well, but only gives it towards Allen. Allen now, they're 2-on-2. Allen drives one towards the far post, and that is a waste. He's skewed it wide to the number 8, and well, he puts his head in his hands, and rightly so, because Dan Meredith tried to clear his lines and didn't get it a clean connection on it like he would have liked. He gave it straight into the feet of the Hereford man, who had space to move into. He had support on his right hand side. He opted to go alone, and that was certainly the wrong choice as he skewed his shot wide. Meredith into Clark tries to chip it back forward to Meredith. Meredith gets goal side of his man and in towards the box. Meredith travels forward, can't get his cross in, but it's back to Cross. Cross sends it goalwards, sends it into the back of the net. Leamington go 2 goals to the good, and it's Liam Cross with his 3rd goal for the club. The man on loan from Northampton Town, a right-footed drive across keeper, across the defence, into the far post, and he gets his 3rd goal in his 22nd appearance. The 19-year-old may have just wrapped up the points for the Breaks this afternoon.
Took it brilliantly. It was driving in between them. Meredith involved. The Hereford defence just didn't know what to do, and there was Cross. Back in the team, back in form, bang, back of the net.
Well, Liam Cross, fantastic strike from the right-hand side. It all came like the first goal did as well. Throw in from the right-hand side, Meredith infield, Joe Clark was involved, and then Liam Cross picked up the ball in the 18-yard box, and he had one thought in his mind, and that was to drill it goalwards. He drilled it low and hard, and Dale Eve could get nowhere near it as it nestled into the far post. It's Leamington 2, Hereford 0, and Leamington are doing exactly what they needed to do this afternoon. They're on the edge of picking up 3 points. Hereford have a corner on the far side that they're going to swing in the closing stages. It's in towards the near post, flicked away by Leamington. It'll be collected by the corner taker, but he won't have time to swing it back in because the referee, Harry Warner, has blown for full time, and Leamington have done exactly what they needed to do on Good Friday, and that's pick up a good result. Leamington opened the scoring in the opening 15 minutes. Ollie Hulbert got his 2nd goal in a break shirt with a fine header that he buried past goalkeeper Dale Eve after a great ball in by Dan Meredith. And then as things started to tick down in the final stages of the game, they managed to get a 2nd goal through Liam Cross. Liam Cross managed to drive one home for his 3rd goal in a break shirt, and well, Craig, a fine result for Leamington.
We all woke up this morning, didn't we, dreaming of a Leamington win coupled with defeats for our nearest rivals, and that is the case. That's how it has finished. So we've given ourselves a boost, psychologically dealt a bit of a blow to those around us as well, who are looking back over their shoulders, and we're within striking distance once again. We go home happy.
Goals from Ollie Hulbert and Liam Cross have meant that it's finished. Leamington 2, Hereford 0.
Paul, a huge 3 points there against Hereford. Something you're going to need for Leamington to fight to stay up this season.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, listen, you hear all the scenarios and so-and-so does that and so-and-so's done that. But listen, yeah, I hate to say, it's not something I'm sort of proud of, but I'm well educated in relegation battles. And listen, 6 weeks ago, I gave the player the points target that they need. That points target hasn't changed, and it's a bit stressful getting there, and that's it. And you can't potter about anything else. So and so's done this. It doesn't matter. You've got, at the end of the day, you've got to get to that points tally to stop in the league. No doubt about it. After the recent few away games and results and the Boston defeat here, this has probably come down to one of the most important games we've had in the National League. You know, the 3 home games now, Hereford, Chorley and Southport, are going to be key to what happens, I think. It's been a good day for us today on the pitch here. It wasn't a classic, it was a difficult game. I think both sets of players probably struggle with, both teams are well deep into 50 games now with everything, and you can see there's a lot of tired legs. Lacked a little bit of quality at times, a bit of composure at times. Showed lots of resilience and work ethic and belief. And 2 bits of magic. I thought both goals were fantastic. Whether, a bit of quality in that far end, good cross. I watched Ollie move off the forward. It was a great header. The power he generated, he sort of had to come from behind the ball. And then Liam Cross, we've seen Liam score a couple now, haven't we? He's a talented young boy, and he's got that in his locker. So there was lots to like about it. I think that the key things with performances sometimes, the little tick box that, can you outrun the opponent, can you outwork him, can you outbattle him, can you win your areas, them little tick box lists that we've done all them today. Without being, it wasn't a Curzon or Chester minor performance, but it was enough. Obviously psychologically for everybody, the table looks a bit more healthy. And it's really pleased with the character and spirit of the boys, really. And you know, a lot of people are supporting us again today, and it's just nice after Boston that, you know, they've, you know, we weren't sloppy. We were sloppy at Boston. We weren't today. And listen, Ted Can had a really good day today as well. Probably his best performance at Leamington. But people have to understand that the model we've got, and probably the problems we've had this year, we've had to bring in a lot of young, untried and untested players like Ted Can, Louis Hall, Sam Perry in there, Ollie, you know, and Liam Cross and all these kind of players, Ben O'Ship, all these players from leagues below or loan players who haven't got the experience of playing 40, 50 games in one season in this division. And trust me, that's where they struggle. But it's a model we've done successfully for years, and there's lots of young players benefit out of it, and I'm sure there'll be more. So listen, we're all set. There's no Easter eggs. There's no going to mass. It's all about Kettering now. So, which obviously proves to be a very important game.
You mentioned the 2 bits of magic for our goals. What about the 2 magic saves from Ted Can as well to keep Leamington probably at that point in the game or 1-0 ahead?
Yeah, just touching it, I thought it was his best game he's had for us. And I thought, like you said, that one thing what he is, he's a 6'7" boy, and when he stretches himself, he fills the goal. And that part of his game has not been intact. He's pulled off some wonderful saves. And today, we did have that spell, didn't we, where we've got a bit too deep. They picked up too many bits and pieces, but yeah, wonderful. I'm delighted for him as well, because, you know, he feels it. He'll be delighted with his clean. He's earned his clean sheet today. But I think the other part of his game, in terms of just that bit of communication, coming off his line, dealing with his second 6-yard box, he's done that well today. And listen, when you sign players like Ted and Louis, you know they're going to make. They're not the finished article. You have to accept that there'll be moments that won't go the way. Just got to try and manage them. So you look at Ollie Hall, who's, you know, we know he's a good player. It's a real tough time, tough 12 months. People forget those boys are still only 20, 21 years of age. They've already been told, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And, you know, I'm not sure clubs do enough, to be honest, but he's come out. Some people would argue his goals tally, but as a number 9, he's been fantastic. I was so pleased he got that goal tonight, because his work ethic deserves that. So like you say, Ted was tremendous. Delighted for him, and a little bit of a confidence booster for everyone, because, you know, these for players who care so much, these periods of the season are difficult, you know, and sometimes they want to succeed so much for the club and the fans that sometimes they can get sucked into it and just not do the basics well. So that'll give him a big boost today, and they're a sort of bunch of lads that deserve that, I think.
Just saying about momentum there and the confidence going into that huge game on Monday then against Kettering. How important is it to the fans to back Leamington now as well at this time?
Well, we can't complain about that. I mean, you know, the last second half of the season, you know, we've been blessed, and you know that's why you're desperate to give them more days like today. So listen, I'm sure it'll be, you know, it's going to be a local derby. It's bank holiday Monday, and it's quite a big game. So it'll have everything, and I'm sure the atmosphere will be electric. And there'll be 2 tired teams, mind you. So listen, we've just got to go there, apply ourselves like we've applied today. Listen, Lee Glover, the manager's a top bloke. He's had to do a lot there, because, you know, he's gone in there in the summer and he's had to totally rebuild, and he's done well. I think Lee's done really well, but tough game. And but we'll go into it in good spirits, and Monday will not decide anything. It will be a big help, hopefully, for one of us. But there's still 12 points to play for, and we've got 2 here, and it's and you can see the difference. We've had a difficult 2 or 3 weeks now, but all of a sudden, one good positive performance, one good positive win, and the whole place lifts. And that's how teams down this end of the league, sadly, don't win 5, 6 games on the bounce, and it just doesn't happen. So we've just got to be a little bit more consistent, a bit more dogged, and but nothing, whatever you coach, whatever you talk about, nothing can breed into players when you can win a game, and keep a clean sheet, and because that will lift the spirits and the confidence. And we've got to start at Kettering as we've started today.